I'm Tamara Thomas, editor-in-chief of UrbanHealthToday.com, part of the DocWire family of medical news sites, and I want to thank you for tuning in to Urban Health Weekly. Our goal each week is to keep you informed of the latest in health and medical news right from today's headlines. It's time to empower yourself with open conversations about your medical care with news that matters to you. So are you ready? Let's get started. Hi, I'm Tamara Thomas, and welcome to Urban Health Weekly, where we talk about medical news and health topics that matter to you. So I'm here with Jackie and Lou. How are you guys?
Hey, how you guys doing?
All good.
All right, awesome. So we got a lot to talk about today, but before we get started, there's a thread on Reddit called AITA, Am I the A-hole?
Ah, yes.
And people who ask questions about situations and scenarios that happened in their life, and they're trying to figure out, was I wrong for my reaction or was I wrong for how I handled this? So anyway, I thought this one was really worth commenting on, because what happened was a mom, as a rule, doesn't allow her son to have sugar. Well, for good reason, but
Right.
not for any medical reason. That he doesn't have any allergies, he doesn't have any sensitivities, no sickness. She just doesn't want him having sugar because we all know sugar is not good. So
Right.
she usually has him bring his own snacks, to gatherings and stuff like that. So anyway, she took it, she went to a friend's party whose son was having a birthday. And the kid, was offered some cake. It was a beautiful cake, a beautiful M&M cake with the yellow and the red M&M. They're swimming in like a pool, a kiddie pool of M&Ms. So it's a really gorgeous cake that apparently the birthday boy's mom bakes on a regular. So I guess she's like a fan of like cake masters and stuff. And beautiful cake.
Okay.
I think I take a slice of that cake. And I know. But what happened was the kid, was offered the cake, and the birthday boy said, well, hey, this cake is a good cake. My mom baked it. It's a healthy cake. My mom baked. So the kid, not needing much prodding because it's a gorgeous cake, said,
Right.
okay, and he had some cake. So the mother says that when the mother of the no sugar kid, when they got home, said that the kid crashed or he got cranky or something along those lines.
Okay.
And she was very angry when she found out that he was offered and given cake. So she wanted her friend to punish her son, the birthday boy. I know, it's just so, for offering him cake, because she said it was peer pressure and he should not have peer pressured her son into having sugar.
That an 8-year-old should have known better.
That an 8-year-old should have known better than to peer pressure.
Than to
Then
and
that also
peer
could be reason that her 8-year-old, her son should have known better than to have the cake. I mean, he has some agency too, right? But she got angry. She wanted the kid punished, and the mother said, look, I'm not going to punish him. I'll talk to him about it. We'll have a discussion with him, but I'm not going to punish him. So she wants to know, is she the a-hole for reacting the way she reacted? I mean, the fact that you asked the question, lady, and you know what she gives him for snacks to bring to when he goes out and stuff.
What does she bring?
Carrots and celery. She basically gives him crudité.
Well, that's impressive. That's impressive that kid has held out that long. That's impressive that her kid has managed to hold out that long.
Yeah, wait till he goes to college. He's going to be.
I know.
He is going to have the biggest sugar orgy ever.
Right.
He finally gets of age, and he's no longer under. That's what she's setting him up for. And apparently
it's going to happen anyway. I mean, that's just going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
She's not taking realistic expectations. Besides being a complete control freak, that's totally age appropriate and developmentally appropriate for an 8-year-old to be like, my mom made a cake. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it.
And it was his birthday, and he wanted to share the beautiful cake.
Yes, and it's totally age appropriate for an 8-year-old to be tempted to have cake and not think twice. They really have unrealistic expectations, and really, mom needs to settle down, and that's really overextending.
Have several seats and stop this tirade, like to say, well, I want you to punish your child.
I always just like, wow. And she went on that AITA
Yeah.
And I always wonder who goes on there because you know you're going to get slammed. You must be really in a quandary or have nobody to talk to. Oh, I guess it was her best friend. So
It was her good friend, and her friend was
Yeah.
like, I'm not going to punish my child. And she felt that the child
Correct.
should have been punished, which is
Correct.
outlandish
and weirdly
ridiculous.
punitive and puritanical. Yeah, that puritanical attitude is not realistic for child rearing. Wow.
I mean, get over it, lady. He had a piece of cake at a party. Maybe she's
It'll be
afraid it's like
fine in the long run. Yeah.
maybe she's afraid it was like a gateway to
It's a gateway
drug.
To Nestle chocolate bars.
Yeah.
M&M's.
It was a slippery slope.
It's a gateway to sugar addiction.
Yeah.
Which is not unrealistic. But I think one slice of cake is not going to all of us.
There has to be like no hysteria surrounded by that. Yes. Expect the decline. You get back on the horse. It'll be okay.
That's it. Exactly. Look, my little one, she, there's always little birthday parties at school and so on and so forth. And, they'll contact me and they're like, can she have a cupcake? It's gluten-free or it's not gluten-free. And I'll say, because I don't want her to feel, left out. I'll say, yeah, she can have half of a cupcake. Or yes, she can have a cupcake, or as long as it's not sulfurated, she can have the dried fruit, like things like that. So, I try to work within the system, so to speak.
Within reality, right? The way things are.
Because I don't want her to be in a situation where everyone's having a good time and she can't partake because of intangible reasons as far as she's concerned.
But would you also feel like if she did, that it would be really age appropriate?
Absolutely.
You wouldn't have
But when she
expectations.
comes home, she does have her paleo meal. It's not like she's like, well, I want sugar. She, I think that's what this woman is afraid of, that her kid's gonna turn into like a sugar demon or something. And that's not, once you instill good, food habits in the child, they come back, but you also have to teach them the importance of like giving yourself.
I think that mom is assigning too much importance and thinking the other mom and father were disrespecting her choices. I think she was overextending.
But they weren't even there when it happened. I don't think they sliced it and gave it to him. They weren't there when it happened. Like they might have been in the backyard for all we know, and the kids were inside playing.
Yeah,
they might have been talking to the other grown-ups.
Yeah, I agree with you there, because I think that she's looking at this all about her from her perspective.
Yes.
So, let's do a little thought exercise. Let's go back.
Yes,
let's all go back to when we were young.
Yes.
And more, one of the most important things to young adults coming up, and the mother should realize this, it's not only the physical, but the psychological healthiness of a child, and the ability to fit in, the ability to have fun with their peers, to have a good time at a birthday party without having 17 restrictions and being the oddball. Because as adults later on, we really couldn't care less if people think we're an oddball or not, or whether people agree with our preferences or not. We grow beyond that, or maybe it's a good thing or a bad thing. But as a kid, these things are very important.
Yes.
And what is she doing to the mental health of her kid? Has she thought of health as a 360 of her child, not just you're eating sugar or not eating sugar? From stopping the participation here, or interrupting with the participation, she may be creating degrees of inadequacy, degrees of other things that are going to go a long way. These are seeds that you plant in a young psyche and go a long way. And I don't think she's giving it any consideration at all.
Yeah, she clearly lacks perspective. And
exactly. So to me, it's more important that a child feels like they belong. Hey, if you have an M&M tomorrow, it'll be out of your system. Just don't do it every day.
As long as the net effect is good, and he's eating his carrots and the celery almost every day. 1 or 2 slip-ups is not the end of the world. And guess what? He had a good time at the party. Okay, so he might have been a little cranky. Deal with it. That's part of being a mom. You're going to deal with kids with crankiness from time to time.
Yeah, so I think mom needs an education there. on 360 child rearing or something.
Yeah. And also the consensus on the Reddit thread was YTA. You are. I just had to bring that one in. It was just too interesting to pass up. All right, so on to medical news of the week. Resistance exercise may be best workout for a good night's sleep. Is it? Okay. A randomized trial suggests resistance exercise promotes better sleep than other workouts among inactive adults, particularly those who are poor sleepers. We thought resistance exercise would be somewhere in the same neighborhood as aerobic exercise, or that maybe combined exercise would be a little bit better. But no, it was consistently resistance exercise on its own that seemed to show the most benefits across the board. This is from Angelique Burlingame, PhD, to Medscape Cardiology. The results were presented at the recent Epidemiology, Prevention/Lifestyle and Cardiometabolic Health 2022 conference, sponsored by the American Heart Association, AHA. Researchers recruited 406 inactive adults aged 35 to 70 who were obese or overweight and had elevated or stage 1 hypertension, and randomly assigned them to no exercise or 60 minutes of supervised aerobic, resistance, or combination exercise 3 times per week for 12 months. Sleep quality and the number of sleep disturbances improved in all groups, including the control group. But this could be due to simply being part of a health intervention, which included a month of lifestyle education classes, Burlington suggested. Among the poor quality sleepers at baseline, resistance exercise significantly improved sleep quality and duration compared with the control group. For a lot of people who know their sleep could be a bit better, this could be a place to start without resorting to medications if they wanted to focus on a lifestyle intervention, Burlington said. I don't know. This sounds to me like any exercise will do the job. Doesn't that sound that way to you?
No, they're saying it isn't, that it's got to be resistance exercise, that has a different effect.
Yeah, but the difference was about a half hour more sleep per person.
Oh.
So, I mean,
well, resistance is the more intense. So I would
right.
say I would say exercise as you ramp up the intensity, which is counterintuitive. You know, do I play the Super Bowl and then I get a good night's sleep, or you know, do I
do a nice brisk walk and some yoga?
Yeah, I mean, who gets the better night's sleep?
Or do I do cycling?
Yeah, the more exhausted party.
I always bring it out to football, but
it's all roads lead to football.
Yeah. Is sitting there eating Doritos going to give me the best night's sleep, or is walking outside while I'm listening to the game going to give me a better night's sleep, or is playing in the game going to give me?
It just doesn't sound like resistance training makes that significant a difference. You know, I mean, your body's going to thank you.
I enjoyed the control group that didn't have to do any exercise. That was good.
But you know what? I enjoyed the group that had to do something, because now they've started. Because what does it take? It takes 90. How many days does it take to start a new habit? I forgot what that number.
Oh, was it 21 days?
21 days to start a new habit. So they've had 12 months of being, you know, of exercising. So now hopefully these people have started a new habit and their sleep is improving and they can see the benefits in their life. So that's great. So, I mean, I guess my concern is I don't want to exclude any kind of exercise and say, well, it's got to be this if you want a better sleep. Because
I see what you're saying. Yes. Because
the benefit that they get is not a significant benefit over other types of exercise. So if you're a person that's afraid of weights, and you shouldn't be, but if you're a person that's afraid of weights, you know, you might be turned off and say, well, I guess I'm just not going to have good sleep because I don't want to bulk up, or I don't want to hurt myself, or I'm intimidated by weights. Whereas I think if people are doing anything, brisk walking, yoga, cycling, aerobics, step aerobics, anything, any kind of activity is going to be better for your body than no activity. So, you know, if you don't like that kind of workout, I don't want people to feel like, well,
we should just give up.
The definition of resistance exercise is pretty broad. I mean,
Right. You can also
push-ups,
do bands.
you know,
You can do body weight
bands,
resistance
push-ups, you
Yeah,
know,
push-ups. Don't push-ups qualify? So is like
and
calisthenics,
pull-ups.
push-ups and squats.
Right. That's body weight type
like
stuff.
you
Yes.
know, look, from my experience, and I'll tell you a little bit about my experience. For a long time, I was only doing judo as my one source of exercise, you know, for about 5 years. And 5 days a week, I wouldn't do it. And then there were 2 nights a week where I would do a judo class for a couple of hours. And I guess that counts as resistance exercise because you're picking up people and throwing them and doing all sorts of stuff. So you do get a tremendous workout while you're doing it. So, I mean, I don't sweat much, and I was drenched in sweat at the end of this.
Oh, that's a good sign.
Absolutely. And you know, you would think that you come home and you're all amped up, and how do you get down, and how do you sleep and all that.
Oh, because you were taking the class at night, or you were
I
hitting
was
the.
taking a class at night, and the you know, just to put it in perspective, the class were from 8 o'clock at night to about 9:30. I wouldn't get home until 10. I would shower, and then you know, what do you do after you do exercise? You eat something, you watch the news, and you go
Oh
to
my
sleep.
goodness.
I
You do
You've
it,
done,
you know,
I've done all the good benefits with that
but
meal, but
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
you just burned 700 calories.
And you just ate 1,000.
Yeah, okay. Okay, but
It
it's
happens.
about the calories. It's about getting a good night's sleep. And again, I'm going back to what we talked about. To me, the thread between these two stories is the psychological effects.
Yes.
And you know, the resistance exercise, because it was challenging, more challenging than just walking around, which is good exercise or anything else. I felt like it gave my brain a reset.
It engaged your brain.
Yes, I felt that, you know, you got to concentrate more when you're doing resistance exercise than just, you know, pedaling for an hour, where your mind goes into wherever, or you're there. I think that and you
I
know,
beg your pardon. Your mind
you
doesn't
feel
just
like you
go
can't be
anywhere when
you
you're.
know, you could say that pedaling is resistance. You could make the case
If you
where
turn it up enough, you get
yoga and
plenty of resistance.
Pilates are
And also,
resistance.
yoga is very mind body. So is Pilates. All
Well,
of these engage your mind. I
that-
don't know of any.
I want to
exercise that
say
makes
though
you
that
focus.
there's feedback that takes place. Like I know like there's a lot of neurofeedback that takes place when you
Yes.
lift really heavy weights. That's especially for certain people with certain nervous systems.
right.
It really is recommended. So like that kind of like lifting and throwing somebody, that would qualify as like
Yeah.
a very heavy feedback.
Yeah, I got to tell you, there's nothing that makes you pay attention more than having a 250-pound aggressive dude trying to kick your butt, you know, and it's sort of like turning your brain on and off and
Yes.
restarting the PC. All those little side programs and problems, they tend to go away. You know,
Yeah.
I always used to say that if you think you got problems because you can't do a reconciliation at work, wait until somebody's trying to punch your face and you got a new set of problems. And that problem kind of makes you focus 100%, and whether it's that or whether you're lifting weights, you're trying to get your entire body lined up. You can't be thinking about something else. You got to
Right.
pay attention to what you're doing. And I think the same is true for yoga. I think the same is true to Pilates to an extent, or even cycling, where you kind of have to get into it. And after a while, if you're in it, it takes 100% of your
Yes,
concentration.
exactly.
So it's kind of like giving your mind an enema. You just refocus and you start it over. And I think that allows somehow, some way. This study shows that there is a correlation. I'm not going to go too scientific here beyond what this study's saying. There's a correlation here between giving your body something to do that your mind is 100% engaged in for a while, then de-stressing and then trying to go to sleep. Does that provide a better environment than just having this continuing sense of just watching TV or whatever,
Well, when you're exercising, your body starts this whole conversation
Mhm.
with, everything is interconnected and everything just starts talking to each other. And that, of course, is coordinated by your brain.
Right.
So I can see where, working out is conducive to a better night's sleep, because you're putting your mind to like good use, where it's the master of the entire orchestra, right? It's the conductor. So yeah, it makes sense. All I'm saying is let's not poo-poo other exercises, because
I was thinking this article was making me feel like, oh yeah, I haven't lifted weights in a while. I might want to. That reminds me, I need to do
But what if
weights.
you're a person that's intimidated by weights?
That's a very good point. So
I
you're
don't
saying
want, yeah,
there's
I don't
lots
think
of
people should
things.
right. There are other things that you can do that are resistance, that I think will give you just as much benefit.
Mhm.
That's all. So I
Yeah,
didn't think this was a terribly strong study. That's all.
Well, I think the study could have been like, is it an exercise that pushes you, or is it just more of, I'm just walking around, or I'm doing something that
So they
makes
had
you a
different
heart rate?
groups. They had a
Mhm.
group that did nothing. They had a group that did aerobic. They had a group that did resistance, and then they had a group that did a combination of aerobic and resistance.
Mhm.
And what they found is that the resistance, on average, the people only slept a half hour more.
Mhm.
Now, what the other thing they were saying is it's possible that the aerobic group didn't have as many sleep issues as the
Yeah.
other.
Oh, to begin
So
with.
that may be why. That's what I'm saying. It's not a great study. Like
Right.
they may not have had as many sleep issues as other group participants in the
Right.
other cohorts. So
Also, there are reasons besides sleep to be getting all kinds of aerobics and
that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I'm saying just move that body,
yes.
don't
Yeah.
be wed to like, well, I've got to do it this way or I've got to do
Yeah. I
it
think
that way.
intensity. I think the key here is
Intensity,
level of
yes.
intensity,
Yeah. And you can
and
get
level
pretty
of
intense
challenge.
in other things that are not necessarily resistance,
Mhm.
Listen, aerobics can get pretty physical if you do like step aerobics or something.
Look, whatever.
Yeah.
Walk up and down the stairs, or
Yeah,
at night,
exactly.
or do something that, and this is about a self challenge too.
Hmm.
I mean, not everybody here is going to put on their gym shorts and run around. There's different ways to challenge yourself physically,
Yes.
and it seems that that physical. The only thing that I wondered in the study is that it's done at night and then you go to sleep.
Yes.
Um, and that was counterintuitive, but I always found it to be good when I did it.
I always thought that, I guess it depends on what you're doing. Like sometimes I do the 7-minute workout, the Johnson and Johnson 7-minute workout, just to like
Yes.
to give, and I do that in the evenings. And then by the time I was ready for bed, I was downright tired.
Oh, so
I thought I'd be wired, but no.
overstimulate you.
Right.
Oh.
Exactly. So, like they always say, don't exercise at night because it's going to keep you up. I think don't go to a gym at night is really what they should say, because of all that blue light.
Oh,
That
you're thinking
part of your
that and
brain.
possibly thumping music and
Yeah, and the
sound.
loud music and the overstimulation. That I think that's a bigger challenge for going to sleep at night than you're in the soft glow of your yellow lights at home, and you do something, in the evening before you have your shower and hit
Yeah, I was going to say, are you also like then afterwards, now you're a little, you're a little drained and then you take a nice shower and then you get in.
right, exactly. And then your brain is happy. It's like, now we can, make all kinds of dreams, and we can get into sleep cycles and just have an overall more restful, peaceful sleep.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying, that the study is a bad study. I'm saying that I don't want people to feel like they shouldn't do what they want to do. That's all.
All right.
Moving on. Stable BMI tied to slower cognitive decline in older adults. Stability in body mass index, or BMI, over time is associated with a better cognitive trajectory in older adults, according to a study published online in Alzheimer's and Dementia. The researchers found that participants with significant changes in BMI or who had greater variability in BMI had faster cognitive decline. This finding was seen regardless of BMI status at baseline, whether they were underweight, normal, overweight, or obese. In conclusion, we found that stability in BMI over time, in contrast to increases or decreases in BMI, is associated with a slower rate of cognitive decline, both in global cognition and specific cognitive domains, the authors write. Disentangling the biological pathways underlying different trajectories of BMI in old age and their contribution to brain health and disease is necessary to develop potential therapies. Okay, so yo-yo dieting and other weight fluctuations affect cognition. Is that a surprise to anybody?
Well, it's said about, well, we do know about yo-yo dieting, right? But you're supposed to maintain your obesity if you're older. By the way, when they're saying older adults, what do they mean? Like, I lost weight recently and like
We're not older.
Yeah,
We're
I
not
don't think,
older.
I think when they say older adults, I think they mean like senior adults.
Yeah.
senior, like 65, 75.
Yeah, they didn't specify that in the.
And they also said 5% up or down in BMI. So that's like, that can be like let's say your BMI is like 22 or something. I mean, that could be like 1 point in BMI, 5%. And like 1 point in BMI is like 6 to 7 pounds.
Right.
So that's really like not like I could go up 6 to 7 pounds very easily. Maybe when you get older, you get more set in your ways and it's easier to maintain that. But do you find like 6 or 7 pounds going up and down? Like, do you find that easy to stay within that range?
I don't know. Like I know, for example, that I have water retention during certain times of the month. So my weight does go up a few pounds, but then after my menstrual, it comes back down. I don't think that's what they're talking about, though.
Right. They're talking about like huge. Is the yo-yo dieting possibly?
Yeah, that's why I said
the whole
yo-yo dieting. People who are like, oh man, I need to lose 10 pounds for this event. And then they do the event and then they're back up 10 more.
I want to fit in that dress, 10 pounds.
Right, exactly.
Right.
And then they go back up.
I fit in that dress. Now I'm going to eat back again. Okay.
Right. I'm going to go back to how I was before until the next event. And then I'm going to lose that weight again. I'm going to try this diet. And so let's say you eat a not so great diet, or you're eating something like highly inflammatory. And then, you decide you're going to try a fast for a couple of weeks. And then you lose that. So it's that back and forth that it doesn't sound like it.
I wonder what the process is. If it's inflammation, like going back and forth creates inflammation. It just,
I don't know. That's what that's the thing.
Body.
They don't seem to answer why, and I just think going up and down in weight is generally just not good.
Or is it a sign of like a little bit of already cognitive changes that you would resort to that? I don't know. That's very interesting.
I mean, if you think about it, it's just not good for your health. It's not good for your hormones. It's not good for your skin. As far as you don't want to have.
There's no homeostasis that way. Yeah. There's no like.
Exactly, because your body is basically dealing with the ups and downs of these changes. So it's taking away resources from other things that your body's doing, right?
Right. With me personally, weight to me is more of a seasonal thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it just has to do with the levels of activity that I have during the warm weather. And I'm gardening, starting at this time of year, I'm gardening, there's more daylight, so I'm up and about. I decide I'm going to clean up something in the yard or this, and then in the summer I'm doing a lot more stuff. So I'm a large body mass, so I'm about a 200, anywhere between 220 and 250. But I tend to every year go up and down 15 pounds between summer and winter. I mean, I've stayed pretty much the same size, but it is, as you say, it's a 2-3% change in BMI. during the summer than during the winter.
That's a good point, though. If you're in a climate like, so we're in the Northeast where we have distinct seasons. We've got
We
winter,
have seasons, yeah.
right. I wonder if there's much more of this cognitive difference in coastal in the Northeast and Northwest corridor.
Haven't we said the blue zones were all like similar?
All across, they're near the equator. That's correct. Yes.
Huh. That's interesting.
The weather's nice and stable, so there's probably something to that as well.
I love the novelty, the changes.
Is also very southern California. Yeah.
Huh.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Anyway, it's food for thought, and I think there is a correlation there. But again, like in the last study, this study, I think there's
not enough data. Yeah,
it's a trail, but it doesn't really. We don't really know where it goes. It's a nice little path there, but it's going somewhere. That's for sure. But where it goes, I don't know.
Well, to read the whole article, you can go to urbanhealthtoday.com and fill in the blanks, although it's not chock full of information, but go to urbanhealth.com today and you can read that article. And with that, we are going to take a short break and we'll be right back. Thanks for listening to Urban Health Weekly today. I hope you'll join me and my friends next week so you can stay informed and inspired to take control of your health. See you next time.